Board of Education meeting to order. I'd like to welcome our student board member Sophie Greer from David Crockett. She's going to lead us in our pledge, and then afterwards Vince Waters will lead us in our prayer.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today, God. We just thank you for the sunshine. We thank you for the breath in our lungs, Lord. We just come to you tonight asking you to heal our land, heal our nation. Lord, help us to be the first ones to start that change. God, we thank you for everything you've blessed us with. We ask that you'll be with all of our leaders of this county, this state, and this nation. God, you know the plan. It's your plan. You know the end of it. And God, we just trust in you. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you all. Okay. Can I get a motion for consideration of meeting agenda, please? Second. Thank you. Discussion? Let's vote, Jennifer, please.
Mr. Hammond, how do you vote?
Yes.
I'll agree.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Lyons here with the Ridgeview 8th grade students. Ms. Lyons, you want to come up with your group? And appreciate y'all coming tonight.
We are glad to be here. I do have a group of 8th graders that are student leaders in our building. And I really just sat down and met with them and said, I would like for you to share some great things about our schools and things that you think are important. So they put their thoughts together. This is their work, and they're a little nervous, but they're going to do great, I am certain. You ready to go? Leave this up here for you.
Hello, my name is Jacob Huffman. I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up. I am on the Ridgeview newspaper team and the Ridgeview golf team.
Hi, I'm Savannah Jones. I want to be an Air Force medic when I grow up, and I'm a part of Ridgeview's middle school band.
Hello, my name's Kalani. I want to be a visual artist whenever I grow up. I am also a house leader in the school, and I am a part of the Ridgeview golf team.
Hello and good evening. My name is Scarlett Wheatley. I want to be an orthodontist whenever I grow up. I am a member of the Ridgeview track and field team. I am active in the wrestling team, and I am a member of the Ridgeview band. Last school year, we had student leaders, teachers, and even community members come together to help choose the words to be put into our vision for the coming years. Raptors are problem solvers who accept accountability for the success of all by maintaining a school community that is respectful, responsible, and kind.
As Savannah has discussed our vision statements, one of our vision statements is we are problem solvers. In the past, we've recognized that we have a problem with students coming in late to our building. Recently, we have found an innovative way to solve this problem by implementing activities and games into our morning announcements. This draws people who want to participate, especially in younger grades. Recently, we have also added talent shows for people, especially of older audience, who want to show off their talent. At Ridgeview, we hold one another accountable. We encourage everyone to go above and beyond. We try our best to meet each person's needs so they have the necessary tools to go above and beyond.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I know it is. I'm on my knees.
It's okay. You're okay. That's right.
As I told you before, I am a house leader. As a house leader, it is my job in the school to help teach other students about the importance of being respectful, responsible, and kind to one another. One of our core values is respect. Students and faculty at Ridgeview are taught to show kindness to everyone, no matter their background, race, and ethnicity. In our community, everyone should feel safe and welcomed, so everyone can feel happy and ready to learn. As house leaders and students, we always make sure we are respectful of school staff, each other, and ourselves. Our respect for each other has been getting better and better every house meeting. Another core value that we have is responsibility. Students give back to the community through fundraisers, drives, and projects through the year. We do school-wide fundraisers to help with money for programs like the Ronald McDonald House, and we do canned food drives and toy drives to help other people that need food and toys for kids. Responsibility. In the house meetings, students learn to become more responsible by cleaning up after themselves and to assist others. It has greatly helped their sense of responsibility and others they have aided. Our last one is kindness. Ridgeview's growing diversity is welcomed with open arms. Ridgeview values kindness and encourages children to welcome everyone that enters our school. Even now, we continue to work towards being a kind and welcoming school. Kindness towards others is emphasized in almost every house meeting we have, as we like to get to know each other better and help each other out with ways we might be struggling.
In order to increase engagement with our students in learning, we have implemented 3 surprise days throughout the year for all students for more academic clubs and activities. Recently, Ridgeview has added more clubs to focus on academic success because we do recognize that people have more variety than sports, variety of interests. First off, we have the band, who gives off the talent of instruments, newspaper team, who gives off the talents of literacy and writing, vector box team gives off academics of math, science, and engineering, and house leaders who were carefully chosen to lead our school in the house system. On STEM Day in September, at our school, we implemented STEM Day using hands-on ways to learn science and math. In 8th grade, we have crafted a pizza using slope equations, researching how to grow good toppings with you. On Math Day in December, we use Christmas-themed ways to use math in real life. In my experiences, we use slope to craft glass-colored paints in which we use to craft ornaments. On Literacy Day in February, we use innovative ways to help kids learn literature and the stories behind them. 8th grade students at Ridgeview put on multiple puppet shows for the K-2 students. The group here performed one of these puppet shows, and for our 1st grade, we got to give you an example of what it looked like.
There's a video for them. They just want to show you the puppet show that they put on for the K2 kids.
Tucker Colonel is a terrific colonel. I like to play with my friends at Sunny Street School. Sometimes things happen that make Tucker real mad.
You can't play with us.
That makes me really mad. When Tucker gets mad, he would hit, kick, or yell at his friends.
Tucker makes me sad and scared when he throws fits like that.
Recently, Tucker has found a new way to stay calm when he gets mad.
Show us, Tucker.
When I get mad, first I stop yelling and keep my hands and my body to myself. Next, I tuck inside my shell and take 3 deep breaths to calm down. Finally, I can think of a solution.
When Tucker stops and thinks, his body is calm and he feels safe. When he uses gentle touches and kind words, we feel happy and safe.
When you look like a turd, ask nicely.
When someone is bothering you, ask them nicely to stop.
You can also ask an adult for help. Remember, never put your foot when you can always create a solution to your own problems.
These guys are definitely now famous among the kindergartners and second graders.
The success of all, reaching visions, engaging success. At Ridgeview, we encourage leadership through house meetings, sports clubs, academic clubs, and through everyday classes. During house meetings, students are encouraged to take a role in their school and show kindness and respect to everybody around them. In sports and academic clubs, students are encouraged to take their school career seriously by becoming teammates and leaders who are prepared for their future. Every day in class, students are encouraged to be the best team that they can be and to work on themselves every day that they are in the school. These teachings lead to success for many of the students here at Ridgeview, and the skills built in these clubs and activities are transferred to the real world. From my personal experience in these types of clubs, the track and field team, we are encouraged to be student athletes, and we are encouraged to put grades before being an athlete, but also be active in the team. And our coach, Coach De La Vega, encourages us to be an amazing, supportive team. I'm sure all coaches do here at Ridgeview. These things can be transferred to the real world. I've seen it. I have felt it before, and like leadership, and we are inspired to be creative and all these things that can help us in high school and in our future fields and careers. And my 8th grade teachers have been wonderful at encouraging me to be a leader for the younger children in the school, and they just encourage everybody to be their best every day that they are here, and it's really fun.
Some of the pictures you are seeing are just of activities we have at our school that are both educational and fun for the students. They provide backgrounds for different things, such as the storytelling and when we got to dress up as things we want to be when we grow up. Thank you so much for your time listening to this presentation. I hope you all have a good evening.
Ideas, the problem-solving group, did it help with tardies, and did it help?
Yes, absolutely. Our kids are running in the door in the mornings, and
Wonderful.
they were very excited. They even got up with the teachers and danced this morning. That was pretty
So the incentives work then.
Absolutely, and we did a talent show sign up. We started out with just a little sign up on the door outside the counselor's office, and that filled up so quickly that we had to do a Google form, and we've had kids who are singing and dancing and playing basketball and all kinds of different talents, and we've really been impressed by the turnout with that in the mornings.
Thank you.
May I ask you another question?
Sure.
For the students?
Yes.
House meetings, it's the first time I've heard anything. What exactly is a house meeting? How does it work?
You got this one.
So house meetings are a time where students who are split into different houses, similar to Harry Potter houses, get together to learn different lessons, as what I've mentioned, about respect, responsibility, and kindness towards one another. Each week we have different activities that revolve around those lessons, and we just try to make sure the students have fun while also learning something from the presentation we have for them.
All grades involved?
All grades are involved.
And all 4 of you all are house leaders from different houses,
We
okay.
are not house leaders.
Okay.
We are members of the 8th grade, and we are all leaders. We all
I seen your different color shirts, so I figured that must have fell back to Ridgeview, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
they do. They all have different responsibilities in their houses.
Okay.
There are 4 house leaders per house, 2 8th graders and 2 7th graders. I am one of the 8th grade Isabindi house leaders.
Okay.
Got your own sorting hat?
I
We
wish.
did have a second day though.
And that was just as fun.
Are y'all excited to go to BOE next year? Good.
We're gonna be sad to see them go, but
Very much so.
they're ready.
We hope you'll attend that
Amp.
right,
Yeah.
yes.
They will probably be there.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, next we have Student Board Member Sophie Greer from David Crockett. She's gonna have a presentation for us also.
Hello motto again. It's been a while since I've been back, and I'm really excited for the things that I get to talk about at Grandview and Ridgeview tonight. They talked about a lot of the things that they're doing great at their school, so maybe I can just drive home how amazing they are. But I'm going to start with Grandview tonight. Press the right button. Yay. So similar to Ridgeview, they have mottos, mission statements, and visions. Their motto is growing exceptional students, and they hold their students to rigorous standards, and they support their learning environment, and they encourage all their students to reach their full potential, and all the events that I'm going to highlight will definitely show that. Their vision statement is all stakeholders must work collaboratively to foster student learning. This is their back to school bash. I think back to school bashes are the best way to start the school year off right, and this one looks like so much fun here. You can see there's all different grades involved, all different ages, parents are there, everyone looks like they're having fun, and I think that's very important to set the tone for the school year. And if you start the year off that way, then students are more likely to be involved. At least in high school, that's what I found. This was something they did over Veterans Day. They came together to honor over 130 veterans and their families with breakfast and a school program. They showcased their gratitude through singing, and they did a little scene skit thing. They were people also there from my school, the NJROTC. The Madrigal singers were there. All my friends are in Madrigal, so I was there when they were practicing for that. And their keynote speaker was Mr. Craig Ponder, and they just wanted to honor all of the sacrifices that these veterans made for our country. These are some examples of the clubs and extracurriculars that they can be involved in at Grandview. There are plenty of options, and some ones that honestly, when I was asking for all this information, really surprised me because they're great opportunities that I would not have even thought of for middle schoolers. So some of these things are actually really cool. So this is their Beta Club serving. Beta Club is a community service-based club. This is them serving in their cafeteria, helping out around their community school. This is their FCA, getting together to pray over the school and learn about Christ together. This is something that people, especially from my school, go to speak at every once in a while. A lot of the people in our FCA will be guest speakers at Grandview's FCA, and they always come back saying how excited and involved the students are, and they love going there to speak. This is their robotics club. I was very excited when I received this information because I was a robotics nerd in middle school. It was my jam. I loved it so much. And robotics was the first time that I was really given responsibilities and leadership roles, and I really hope that this club is giving those kids those same opportunities, because I really grew a lot as a student and as a leader in robotics in middle school. This is their Girls on the Run. Girls on the Run is also something very near and dear to my heart, because that's where I decided that I kind of like running. And I think their Girls on the Run really fosters the love for being together, also taking care of themselves, having fun while working out, and look at all their costumes and hair dye. They just look like they're having a great time. These are some of their choral concerts. So the Christmas concert was pre-K through 4th grade. Those are the pictures from it. And then the Christmas tree lighting, they sang there. They combined with Jonesboro, and they did a concert there. This is something new, their tutoring program. And this is their on-track high dosage low ratio tutoring program, and it's in 18 school districts and 5 local agencies to help literacy and math instruction. And this is multiple pictures. This is the one that I chose to use for their new tutoring program. These are pictures from their STEM lab. This is very similar to robotics in what they are learning in science, technology, engineering, and math. And they are learning, you can see in the middle, how to work together as a team between all grade levels, which is something very difficult to do with the wide variety of grades in elementary and middle school. So that is a very beneficial skill for them. These are some of their Christmas festivities. So they used their STEM lab to create games for their preschoolers through 4th graders. The 7th and 8th graders did. And this was a great way to put the skills that they were learning in their STEM lab to use to help out the younger students and help build those connections between grade levels. Next, I'm going to show some of their athletic teams. So this is their cross-country team, and I will say Grandview's cross-country, a lot of the people that come to Crockett ran at Grandview, my brother included, so they're very, very strong track and cross-country program there. This is their girls soccer team. This is football and cheer. This is their volleyball team. Their girls basketball team, their boys basketball team, and these are some of these student standouts. So I don't want to butcher her name. I think it's Kaylee Dykes. She was the reserve champion for the Australorps. I had to look it up. That's a type of chicken, I think. I think it's a type, and that was through the Appalachian Fair, I believe. And then Luke Miller was the WJHL student weatherman, which was really cool for me to learn. He looks like he's having so much fun there. So these are some of the community service projects that they've been involved in. They've done food drives and raised money for the Ronald McDonald House, which I recently went to the Ronald McDonald House, and I can tell you that fundraising for them is something very, very, very important. And I'm so happy that students are learning about that early so they can be more involved with that in high school. This is their family book night. It was around Halloween. They all dressed up, and this was similar. They all dressed up in Halloween costumes, and this was a night to kind of promote games and literacy and just fun around the school. This is their elective program. So the elective program at Grandview, it was developed by the related arts teachers to highlight their educator strength. And the vision of this was to be able to provide middle school students with a voice and a choice in their learning, and it will help prepare them for high school, because in high school you're given a lot more freedom with the classes you would like to take, especially when it comes to electives. So this is a good introduction for them for maybe what they want to choose as their elective focus in high school. So there's equal assistance, which is just going around volunteering for what teachers need in the school. There's a filmmaker's studio, and they learn scripting, acting, how to operate a camera, makeup, set construction and design, editing, sound, special effects. This is one that I found very, very, very interesting, and I hope kids there are very involved in it because it's all really cool. Then they have a piano lab, which that's with Mr. Davenport, and I'm sure he's amazing because Mrs. Davenport was my piano teacher, and she's phenomenal. And they learn how to play songs from the basics. This is a great way to learn the basics of piano, even if you've never taken lessons. There's students with all abilities of playing in that class. The food truck challenge is this is more on the what I would call the new, at Crockett we call it the new annex side of things, but this is more like business, agriculture, architecture, construction, STEM, all those things, learning, project-based learning. There are team sports, which is just an extra way to develop physical skills necessary to compete. And then there is fiber arts, and this is where they are able to experiment with simple hand sewing, quilting, felting, loom knotting, all of those skills. All right, now I'm going to drive home and just keep telling you about how amazing all the things at Ridgeview are. So once again, this is their vision statement that they got together with the community to make. They were a reward school for the first time in 9 years, which is a great accomplishment. Too far. This was their spelling bee, Abigail Brackens, in the 1st through 4th grade competition, and James Plucker in the 5th through 8th. They won, and James is the winner of the 5th through 8th grade competition, and he will participate in an online test to qualify to compete at Nissan Stadium, which that date has passed, so I have. Alrighty. 4-H, public speaking. So there were top winners within Ridgeview. The 4th grade was Laurel Walker, and they just 2nd, Catherine Lavelle, 3rd, Abigail Brackens, 5th grade. 5th grade was Lincoln Walker, 6th grade was Teddy Nettle. I'm so sorry, I don't want to say their names wrong. Lincoln Walker actually placed 1st in the upper 8 Eastern region, and Laurel and Teddy received participation and honorable mention in this contest. This is their STEM/CTE lab, so similar to Grandview's, this is where students will learn the basics of programming and teamwork. And this CTE coursework was provided by Daniel Boone, and this was a direct quote from Mrs. Lyons, where she said that the students were very, very excited to learn more about the program and what this could help them discover about their career and their future. This is their basketball teams. So both of their basketball teams were very successful, and they both moved on to the sectional tournament this year. These are some new clubs that they have around the school. So they have a new club of student writers, and they want to make sure that you are looking for their 1st edition coming out in April. So it's kind of like their newspaper. And they also have a robotics team that just started. This is some of their house events, which are, the first one is Muffins with Moms. That's when moms came in with their kids and they just kind of hung out, bonded, ate breakfast together. Then this is the talent show that they're referring to in the mornings. Each morning a student would showcase their talent. So here you can see singing, dancing, and piano playing. This was their Spirit Day to help students get more involved and excited to be at their school. So you can see the different colors happening, you can see the excitement, and that these kids really went all out for their school because they love being there. And this is an upcoming event that they would like you to be aware of that they are doing with the community at Chick-fil-A. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Good job, Sophie.
Thank you.
All right, next we have some high school presentations. I think I've got MC JROTC, Major Sessis. I don't know if is he here yet?
First Sergeant is here. We'll call him.
Okay.
Yeah. Get out of your way.
Floor is yours.
Good evening, Mr. Boyd. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I am Cadet Major Bailey from the Daniel Boone High School Marine Corps ROTC program. To my right is Cadet Captain Higgins, the executive officer of this program. To my left is Sergeant Major Williams, the Sergeant Major of this battalion. Since the founding of our program, we have achieved the Naval Honor School. What this means is the top 10% of all Marine Corps programs in the nation receive this award. We have received this award for 25 consecutive years. In addition to that, we have been rewarded the MICRA. The Marine Corps Reserves Association rewards the top 4 programs in the nation. Since 2010, we have been awarded this on 10 occasions. We also have been have also achieved 5 consecutive Tennessee State Rifle Championships. In addition to that, we have qualified for the National Academic Competition in Washington, D.C. for 7 years straight. We also have hosted our 27th annual drill meet, which is the largest drill meet in the southeastern United States. Our drill meet attracts all-day ROTC programs from all service branches from 6 different states. These states, excluding Tennessee, include North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, and West Virginia. For the past 30 years, we have achieved a 100% graduation rate and a 70% honor roll. Since our last brief with the board, we have done 152 unit events. 73 of those events serve the community directly. A few examples of these are the Great Parade, Night to Shine, Reach Across America, Second Harvest Food Bank, and the Celtic Festival. By the end of the school year, we will have an estimate of 5,200 community service hours. For graduation at the Washington County Schools, you need 6 hours. However, our cadets average 54 hours per year. Not only do we do competitions, we also host them. We host rifle, drill, fitness, academic, and orienteering. Not only do we compete locally and regionally, we also compete for a national spot outside of the state of Tennessee. The places we compete at are Ohio, Utah, Alabama, Arizona, and Colorado.
I'm the rifle team captain in our ROTC program. And our rifle team is the most successful team that our school's program offers. We just came back a couple days ago from Nashville for our 5th state championship win in a row. Now, Tennessee has a team called All-State from different schools in the Tennessee area. And out of the 6 team members, our school last year had 5 of the top shooters in Tennessee. We missed 1 spot by only a couple of points. We just came back, like I said, from our 5th consecutive win in a row for rifle team, or top rifle team in Tennessee. Now, 13 gold distinguished shooters. What that means is in CMP, which is the Civilian Marksmanship Program, you can shoot over a collective of 4 years to reach gold distinguished, which means thousands of hours, rounds, and competitions. Only 2,000, or around 2,300 people throughout the nation have made gold distinguished. And the history of our team, 13 of them are gold distinguished shooters, and 5 of them are currently on our team. We have on our team the #1 MCJROTC marksman, which is Cadet Major Bailey. We just came back from Utah a couple of weeks ago for our national competition, which we placed 2nd in by only 1 point. That is thousands of rounds out of 256 schools. We placed 2nd and missed by 1 point. We plan to get that 1 point back in a couple weeks. Our upcoming events, we have the Civilian Marksmanship Regionals and Nationals. Like I said, Ohio will be going in a few weeks to get that 1 point back, and Regionals is another qualifier for other upcoming competitions. Now, we are also #1 in North Carolina because they invited us to their state competition. We took 1st place, but they wouldn't let us bring the trophy back because we live in Tennessee.
Right. I'll talk about our other competitive teams. We drill locally, regionally, and nationally. This year we have been invited to the Army's national competition in Knoxville, Tennessee. The last time that we did not place 1st in a drill competition, I was in 1st grade. We also have our academic team, which has competed in 7 consecutive JLAB qualifications. I'll go over what JLAB is. It is the Junior ROTC Leadership and Academic Bowl, which is held in Washington, D.C. We are the only school to do it 7 years in a row. We also have our athletic and orienteering teams, which are both regional powerhouses. Our cadet achievements for the past 12 months, 2 of our cadets have gone on a full ride ROTC scholarships. We have achieved upwards of $300,000 in scholarships and enlistment incentives. We have sent 3 cadets to Boys and Girls State. And then I'll go over it again. Our cadet, Major Bailey here, is the #1 Marine Corps J ROTC marksman in the country. We also have 8 of our 15 senior cadets are going into the military service after this year.
So as you all can see, we have done a lot of things in the past and will continue to do things in the future. I will now turn the table to you, and if you, Mr. Boyd, or ladies and gentlemen of the board have any questions, feel free to ask us, please.
What type of gun are you shooting?
We shoot a 1.77 caliber pellet rifle at around 33 feet. I'm sure y'all are aware of the Summer Olympics. The same pellet rifles they use there are what we use.
Okay. And what range how far are you shooting range-wise?
Around 33 feet.
33 feet.
We're aiming at something the size, I don't have a pin on me, but the end of a pinprick is about what we're aiming at, 33 feet, through iron sights.
Well, that's unreal for your accomplishment.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Major, what's your plans on when you graduate? Now that what's your qualifications under your belt?
After I graduate, I would join the United States Air Force, where I would stay for 20 years and then retire and work for the FBI.
And I got one more question. ROTC has been so competitive over the years. I graduated 25 years ago when they were very competitive then. What keeps you all motivated? I mean, is it major? Is it the program? I mean, how do you all keep having this success over and over again?
Major is a huge help to how we run our program, but mainly it is our reputation. We've held a very strong reputation, as Sergeant Major Williams has said. The last time we took anything less than first place was when I was in 2nd grade, he was in 1st grade. So that's a very strong record to uphold, and that digs deep into all of our cadets to keep that reputation moving forward.
Super proud of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also did want to publicly thank Major Sessis. His program for years, as you can see, has been just top notch. So a lot of that is because of you, I feel like.
And the first sergeant.
And the first sergeant.
Great job.
Great job for both of you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Okay, next we have David Crockett's NJ ROTC, Chief Petty Officer Frank, I think, is here for their presentation.
Alright, good evening, Mr. Boyd and board members. I'm Cadet Commander Alyssa Marshall. To my right is Cadet Lieutenant Brandon Ward, and to my left is Cadet Ensign Haley Fulton. And we're here to talk about some of our unit. This is our first board meeting, to our knowledge, for us and our instructor. Some things about our unit. We had an outstanding AMI. We did really well. We have an upcoming military ball this Saturday. We do one every year. I'm sadly leaving this year as a senior. I will miss it very much. But my junior peers would love to say a few words as well. Here's Frank.
Good evening. Like she said, I'm Cadet Lieutenant Brendan Ward. I'm the operations officer as well as the drill team commander for our unit. As operation officer, I'm in charge of planning and keeping track of all of our events that we do. Some upcoming events we have is like she said, the military ball is coming Saturday. We have a drill competition at Science Hill, March 23rd, as well as another rifle competition. As drill team commander, my goal is to instill confidence in all of our cadets. Drill provides functions for everything. We do color guards for Veterans Days. We did one at the Senior Center early in November. We do honor guards for all the middle schools. We did one for Westview, Lamar, South Central, and Grandview for their homecomings. And the kids really love to see that. As well as performing drill competitions. One of the competitions we look forward to the most is the Daniel Boone drill competition, as our neighbors next door were talking about. We perform armed drill, which involves using the Daisy drill rifle. We perform unarmed drill, which involves using no rifles whatsoever. We have color guard competitions, which involves using our nation's colors and the Navy organizational flag. And we have exhibition, which utilizes an 8.5-pound Daisy drill rifle, rolling it in the air and getting really creative and producing really good show for everybody to watch. I'll turn it over to Cadet Ensign Haley Fulton, our rifle team.
Hello, I'm the rifle team commander. So our goals for the rifle team is to hopefully make it to regionals coming up and hopefully nationals. We actually just shot at state recently and we placed 5th overall. 2 of our cadets placed in the top 20. We go to different schools and shoot. We've been to Daniel Boone, McDowell High School, St. Stephen's, Volunteer, and Montgomery Bell Academy, which is where we shot state. We host rifle matches. We actually hosted one these past couple of days for to see who qualifies for regionals.
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
All right, so I'll also talk about our PT team and our orienteering team. So the PT team involves pushing ourselves physically and mentally. Our biggest thing is the Bulldog Challenge, which is held at West Ridge High School. There's plenty of events that go on there, including the 4-man push-up, 4-man sit-up, pull-ups, ruck run, mile run, and tug of war. That is one of our biggest events, and cadets absolutely love to do it. The orienteering team, we are given a set of locations on a map, and we are required to find all those locations swiftly and efficiently, and come back safely and not fall in a bush, as I did in the past. All right, so our academic team. Our academic team covers all Navy knowledge as well as keeping up with current events. Our Navy knowledge includes our general orders, our Navy's chain of command, as well as our nation's, our school's chain of command, and current events involving what is going on in the Middle East and other things such as our elections, all that good stuff.
One thing I would like to say, I know, like I said, I'm leaving as a senior, but one thing I do want to leave behind is not only confidence, but knowledge for outside of high school as well. I've had so many highs and lows through high school, and 99% of the highs have been through ROTC. It instills a lot of courage and knowledge and confidence in yourself to be able to get through high school. So, if anyone has any questions, we would be glad to answer them.
I'm just curious, all the medals, can you tell us a little bit about what this is?
They're all for certain different things. Most of mine are from rifle. Like this is the Purple Heart. I got that at awards night. I don't remember exactly who gave it to me. One of the Navy things. And then, let's see, I've got some orienteering in here. This was also in the Navy sanctioned. I've got like participation ribbons. Like I said, most of mine are from rifle. So.
Very impressive.
Got some different ones on here. Yeah, we got like participation on here. There's academic. You can get medals and ribbons for all certain different things.
What's your plans after?
Mine.
I'm actually doing college through online college for Penn Foster for vet tech. So I'm actually going into the military, but I will be glad that I did this when I leave.
And after high school? Okay. My plans after high school is I'm currently starting my applications towards the Naval Academy as well as NROTC, the Air Force Academy as well as Air Force ROTC. And my goal is to commission as an officer in the United States Air Force or the Navy and into a career fielding some type of aviation.
My plans after high school are to hopefully get my doctorates for psychology and hopefully continue to take that into the military.
Now, once you enter into the armed forces, what rank do you go in being in this program?
So being in this program, if we enlist straight out into the Navy, we will go in as an E3, which is a seaman. Okay. If you go into the Marine Corps, you can contract in as a private first class, which is an E2. Okay. As well as all the other branches, you can go in as an E2.
Interesting. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, I have a statement. 30 years ago, I was in NJROTC at Crockett, and I believe it gave me the base knowledge and the love for the 27 years that I've served in our local law enforcement. So I just want to let you know that what you're doing is commendable. What you're doing is investing in your future. And I'm very, very proud of all of the ROTC cadets tonight that have been here and those that have not.
Mr. Frank?
I'd just like to follow up with that, and I'd like for the Boone cadets to come back in if they would. There's no greater honor to serve our nation in the military.
True.
And we just appreciate you all. I'd ask everybody to stand and give them a round of applause.
Fantastic job. Yeah. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Major. Thank you, sir. Okay, next is our 2024 TSBA scope attendees. I'll let Mr. Boyd bring them up and tell us about what's going on there.
Dr. Davis and Ms. Haldren were the chaperones, and Dr. Davis, if you want to come up and introduce.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us. We're going to start off real quick by introducing ourselves and tell you what school we're representing. So I'm Mackenzie Gaby and I represented David Crockett.
My name is Kendall Hodge, I'm also representing David Crockett.
My name is Emery Zilke and I represented Daniel Boone.
My name is Nate Fluker and I also represent Daniel Boone High School.
So what we're going to be going over today is we're going to give you a quick overview and then we're going to tell you about the agenda that we followed. This happened on Tuesday and I know you, Mr. Boyd, were there. I'm going to go over some skills that we learned and some policy issues in education that we discussed, and then we're all going to share our personal experience. So, as I said, on Tuesday, the four of us had the opportunity to represent our district in front of the Tennessee School Board Association at the Student Congress on Policies in Education. It is an annual event that's held every year, and this year it was held at Belmont University. We got to work in small groups under the instruction of other school board members around the state and educational leaders, and most of our time we spent discussing and debating various current issues in education. So first we had our opening session. It was a general assembly and we listened to last year's officers give an overview of the day, and we were also addressed by the Vice President of Admissions at Belmont. After that, we broke off into small groups, and they have it distributed so that you're not with anyone from your district. So we were all separated from each other, but it was a great opportunity to branch out and meet new people. In our small groups, we held a mock school board meeting. So that consisted of electing a superintendent And once we had voted on that, we then held a school board meeting where we listened to mock community leaders give their opinions on different topics, and we voted on policy. And then we took a short break and came back into those small group sessions. And then we discussed and researched our assigned debate topic. So this year there was 4 different debate topics, which I'm about to get into. And we were assigned a stance on each topic, and we had to collaborate with each other to work on our debate that we were going to present to the entire assembly later in the day. Then we went to our closing session where we presented all our evidence and debated against the other side. And then the entire assembly got to vote on the mock policies to see if they passed or not. So this year's debate topics were internship requirements, and the statement was every student must complete an internship as part of a local graduation requirement. Artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence may not be used in completing homework. And I know that Kendall and myself were on the con side of this, so we had to argue that it can be used in moderation, and that was definitely an interesting thing to discuss. Some other topics that were debated was a 4-day school week and cell phone usage in the school and whether or not that should be prohibited. So some skills that we learned over at the conference was definitely public speaking. You had to speak in front of large groups of people and total strangers, and none of us were together. Critical thinking, we had to make claims and defend them with evidence, and collaboration. We had to work with people from all different backgrounds that we had never met, and it was definitely a great experience, and it was definitely very confidence boosting. Now we're all going to share our personal experience and takeaways from this. I know for me it was really nice to meet other like-minded people. You could tell that they all were passionate about representing. They all wanted to be there, and it was very nice to see everyone so intellectually involved. And I'm going to hand it over to Kendall.
One of my favorite parts was, like McKinney said, just getting to meet all these different people from all these different spots around. I met people who were interested in a lot of the same things I'm in. I met a couple people from, I'm going to a choir competition tomorrow, and they'll be there too, so I'll be excited to get to see them tomorrow as well. I know another one of my favorite parts was in the debate session, we chose people, one person from each group, to go and debate in front of the entire people there. And so while that was not me, I got to give a lot of great points to help my person to debate their topic. And the topic that mine and Mackenzie's was debated actually ended up being voted on by the entire population 50-50 exactly. And so it was really exciting to get to see that and see how great it was for both the con side and the pro side to be able to argue their points so great that it was 50-50 indefinitely.
But once we split into small groups, it was me and roughly 10 other people. We all loved to be there. We all contributed to our discussions. In the mock school board meeting, I was one of the board members. And at the start of the board meeting, we elected the chair. And then we had our superintendents who we interviewed them, discussed. We voted one in to be our mock superintendent. And then we discussed a policy that would make school start later in the day and end later in the day. And our discussion went on for a while. Our group leader, who was actually from Johnson City Schools, Beth Simpson, actually had to cut us short and just say to make a decision. And then before the debate topic, the debate stance that my group argued, we were against the 4-day school week. And we had 5 people run to be our group speaker. Our group leader gave us one sentence to convince everybody to vote for us. I was one of the people who ran. I didn't get picked to do it, but I tried. We all ended up discussing the reasons why 4-day school would be negative. We came up with rebuttal points for why it could be positive, and overall my group actually ended up contributing to the debate, and my side ended up winning the debate for that topic.
Yes. So when we split into small groups, I was in the group that was arguing against the 4-day school week as well. That was interesting. None of us were the speakers for our group, but we were able to contribute a lot of research and thought into what they were arguing. And yes, our side won. But back to the mock school board meeting. So our group was led by a lady school board member from Rutherford County, from Murfreesboro. We think we're growing fast, and they were growing much faster. And so she was interesting. She helped us to make the decision about delaying school times. I was not on the board, but I was able to participate as one of the citizens and pose some very interesting questions, such as bus drivers. to them for us to discuss. And as for the debate topic, there was a lot of research going into it. We were able to bring our school Chromebooks, and so we could look at research papers on the topic and cite evidence from those. And we were able to come up with analogies and all sorts of things that eventually led up to the final debate.
And now we will open up the floor to y'all for questions.
What was the consensus on the cell phone use?
I believe that it was, I want to say that it was, that they should not be banned totally, but I can't swear by that.
Yeah, the poll ended up, it was, I want to say 70-30.
Yes, it was.
Against the ban for it.
Yeah, but.
The students wanted to use their phones.
Yeah.
That one was actually debated by seniors, that were in the conference.
And there's the university.
So the 4-day school week was approved?
No, it was, our side won against the 4-day school
Okay.
week, that was to keep it the same as a 5-day week.
What about start times? Didn't you say there's start
That
times?
was the mock school board discussion, and my group ended up deciding to delay it by 30 minutes instead of an extreme or keep it the same.
And my group decided to keep it the same, and so it varied among different groups.
My group decided against delaying the school day as well.
So all of you was school board members, or?
Yes. Well, I know that I was, and he was, and.
I wasn't, I was just kind of observing, and I gave a kind of community perspective towards it.
Well, looking at the picture, y'all clean up well.
Thank
We appreciate you all representing us, representing our region and our county. And would you do it again?
Yes, absolutely. It was a great experience.
How did you get chosen to do this?
So I think Crockett and Boone did it a little differently. I know ours, we had to apply through our counseling department, and then if you made it through the first round of applications, there was an interview, and then we were interviewed by, I believe, 7 different faculty members. So then after that, 2 were chosen.
And it was brought up by a series of points, and so me and Mackenzie got the highest amount of points by the 7 interviewers, and so we were able to go.
Awesome. The way Boone picked theirs was I guess they looked at grades, attendance, every extracurriculars and stuff, and they just chose 2 representatives and informed us that we were chosen.
They called us to the principal's office one day.
Good thing you wasn't already in there.
Well, Miss Jennifer just handed me a note, and want to congratulate you. Looks like you all will be our upcoming fall school board members for our school board here. So
Fantastic.
hope you look forward to it. How many would want to be on a school board when you get older?
I would. I think that's a very interesting thing to be a part of.
Yes, I think that would absolutely be something that I would like to pursue.
I'm still not entirely sure where I'm
I love
Maybe because the education is very important in forming the lives of the people in our county.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very proud of you. You represented our area very well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't take long to clear them out.
Don't does it?
It's just now feeling good.
Okay, I know.
Sunny and 85.
Sunny and 85. That is hilarious.
Okay, next, Mr. Boyd, presentation from Bright Ridge.
I don't know how you guys are gonna follow them up.
Yeah, we got money.
Let me just first, Mr. Boyd and Board, let me just say that you all and the teachers that these students represented, y'all have to be very proud.
Yes.
Because it's obvious listening to them that our future looks bright.
Yes.
I mean, this is just phenomenal. It was great to hear. And this is actually one of the funnest things I get to do tonight. You know, there's things that we have an opportunity to give back to the community, and this is one of those. A few years ago, Mr. Martin, who is no longer with us, but our board voted to name the solar farm that we have down there in his honor. And we also came to the schools, and I will say Washington County certainly stepped up and just asked, do you want to participate in this? And the good thing about the participation is that those solar farms, we save money off our TVA bill. I'll give you an example. The Martin Solar Farm this past year, what we would have paid TVA and what we actually paid for that solar was $679,000 in savings off of my TVA bill. Wow. And I know y'all sit here and look at every day at the cost of things going up, and those are things that really help us save money and help us avoid doing rate increases. So that's very promising and good thing for us. But the most important thing is to be able to come here tonight and tell you that we've got a check for you. And you know, the great thing is the savings this year. The check for Washington County is $76,776 that I'd like to present to you, Mr. Boyd, and my marketing folks. They would not be happy unless I came back with a picture of two of the best looking men in Washington County. So sir, if and because you.
So we got paparazzi right here.
Yeah. You're doing well. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let me get one more. I got a lot of people depending on me.
And take note that when I said two of the best looking men, I didn't include myself. So I want to give you that check, sir.
Yes, sir.
And thank you so much
Thank
for
you very much.
everything y'all do.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Casher.
Yeah. Are they,
See what they do with that one.
are they another opportunity that we could buy into that again? Like we did?
What, that doesn't include one of the things I will say just real quick is when we did the original first solar farm, which is the one down by Aerojet, there with that. Washington County again was one of the few that bought, when we offered, that bought into that one. And I really tonight can't tell you what the savings that have come back to Washington County on that was, but I'll get that to you, Mr. Boyd, because again, that again, I have to thank y'all because of looking forward. You know, part of the solar farms that we have, you were the only school system in the state of Tennessee that participated in the electric school bus offering. And you know, it's just, again, thank you all for looking forward and progressing. And I know with some of the students you've seen, some of the schools that y'all have now, great educational program going on out there. So, and I have to say, I can look at it in pride because I don't know, many of you may not know that, of course, I grew up in Carter County. And don't hold that against me. But my father's family, and I was excited to see there was a Kaylee Dykes on the screen up there today. My father's family is from down the lower end of Washington County. So if you run into any Dykeses down there, they are all related to me. And so you can probably tell we all look alike. But and my parents are both buried not far from here. If you go down to Davy Crockett High School, if you know where New Victory Baptist Church is. My parents are buried there, my grandparents and all that. So I feel really a part of Washington County because my family is truly from here. So it is indeed an honor for me to be here and an honor to serve you all through Bright Ridge. So again, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you very much.
Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, out of country trips.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Morgan Prince. I teach French at Daniel Boone High School. With me is Tom Gillis, who is now teaching Spanish. And we are here to request the board's approval for a trip to Spain and France in June of 2026. So, with this trip, let's talk about the cost. So, the tour fee itself is $5,123, and then we add in the Travel Production Plan Plus, which is offered by the company Explorica. With that, it provides a cancel for any reason, so that brings the total fee up to $5,387, yes. And then students are able to make monthly payments, so they would do 25 monthly payments of $215.48 after an initial payment of $314, which is a $50 deposit, and then the travel protection plan for that, and that's the travel insurance. If students sign up by March 27th, they can receive a $200 early bird discount. After March 31st, the tour fee is subject to change due to the quarterly price increases that Explorica has. What this includes round trip airfare, their lodging, 2 meals a day, transportation in both countries. Again, the travel protection plan plus, and it also includes tipping for the bus drivers and the tour guide while we're in the 2 countries. So the travel protection plan plus, students are required to buy this with the trip. So it covers the basics of if there is a terrorist attack, God forbid, injury, sickness, their passport has been stolen, their visa's been stolen, loss of luggage, all of the basics, but it also includes an option where for any reason, as long as they cancel 2 days before the trip, and they have purchased the insurance, they can cancel the trip and receive 75% of the non-refundable cancellations. So some of the highlights. Spain. So we will see Madrid, Toledo, and Barcelona, and then in France we will go to Paris, Rennes, and Saint-Malo. So in Spain we will see the Reina Sofia Museum, the Sagrada Familia. Of course, we will go to Toledo. We will have a flamenco night. We will eat lots of good food. In France, we will go to Versailles, the Louvre, Mont Saint-Michel, Parc Astérix, and of course, that's just to name a few things. We really worked on designing a trip that connects to our curriculum. That way, students can take what they've learned in the classroom and go abroad and apply the skills that they've learned in our classes. You know, it's exciting to see, like, oh, wait, we talked about this in French class, or, oh, hey, I remember we talked about this in Spanish, or didn't we? We really want to make what we do in the classroom, you know, applicable to our students' lives, and also show them that, you know, the world is so much bigger than they think, and help them appreciate not only other cultures, but their own culture. Are there any questions?
I have been to Sagrada Familia and the Louvre Museum, and they are wonderful.
Yes.
And really, I'll emphasize what he said. This is not just one of the canned trips that you get out of the book. We actually worked, and Morgan's done a whole lot of work with it, to really kind of pick specific things for the students. So this is a trip which we developed, not just one that we picked out of the book and said, oh, this is fun or something. So it's really, he's tried to tie it with what we do in our classes and stuff. And yeah, and Sagrada Familia is incredible too. Yeah, and the Louvre, all of them, really.
It's great. That's a great opportunity.
And Parc Astérix, one of the trips that I've taken students on before we went to Disney Paris, but Parc Astérix is actually like the Dollywood for France, and stuff. It's a theme park that the students, but it's one which French people go to, not just Americans that come to visit. So we try to pull in stuff like that.
So you've done a lot of research.
Yes. Yes, and with that research, we priced 3 different tour companies and said which one can give us the best deal. And Explorica came back and they checked all the boxes for us.
So a lot of them you've gotten group discounts, like at some of these commissions. Yeah.
And some of the tour companies, they will add extra prices, like you have to pay extra, and this has all the things in it. But like it doesn't probably seem big, but like having the tip money included, that's a big deal. Because the last trip we did, they told the tour company said you have to collect this much money in addition to the other for tips. And then when we get there, then it's like, well, we're running out of tip money and stuff. But it's good to have everything included. You know, I personally prefer to do that.
And you have different where they can pay different times where they don't have to, just different supplements, like where they can pay and not. have to pay them all at one time.
Yeah, they
Right.
make monthly.
Yes, they can make monthly payments. They have several plans. So you can do larger amounts a few times. They call it their manual payment plan. But the best one, I think, is the monthly payments where they can make that $50 deposit plus the travel insurance. And then it's $200 a month. A high schooler working at PALS, that's something achievable for them. You know, they can do that, 20 hours a week, and if it's
Are
something they
you all
want to do.
gonna try to have any fundraisers for them?
So they can do fundraising through, the company provides each individual participant a fundraising page, and so then students are able to go out to the community, whether it be their church or their family members, and say, here is this opportunity of a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Would you donate? Explorica also offers a $150 scholarship for students whose families make less than $55,000 a year. So that's most of a monthly payment right there, and every little bit helps.
That's great.
Ms. Walton.
How many adults versus how many kids are y'all planning on going?
So it's supposed to be one adult for every 6 kids.
Okay. And I'm thinking security and.
So Explorica, we have a tour guide with us at all times. Obviously, there is an emergency number that we can access 24/7. I have an international plan. Mr. Gillis has an international plan on our cell phones, and we're going to make sure that the kids know exactly how to get in contact with us if there's anything that they ever need. So does that answer your question?
Yes. Mr. Hopestone.
What are some of the other places that we've had our high school students go outside of our country in the past years?
Culinary class.
Last summer, we did Spain and France. I was a part of that one. And we went, before that, Crockett went to France. So I think the ones that I'm familiar with off the top of my head, the Italy one, the France one, and then last year Spain and France, and then Ms. Rodriguez is doing one to Tokyo next summer.
Yeah,
What's
she
been
can.
the average attendance?
We
Vary or?
We had 20 when we went. We had 20 students.
Mr. Flainer.
Will they be open to what grades? Freshmen?
9 through 12.
9
Yes.
through 12.
And as
At the time of the trip or at the time today?
at the time of the trip.
Okay.
So this year seniors will not be participating, right?
Unless they want to come back as a chaperone.
Or as an adult, or
Yeah.
as an adult.
Yes, adults can go on the trip. You all could go if you wanted to. There is an adult supplement, so the tour fee would be a little pricier for you all.
School board member discounts.
We can work on it. We can work on it.
Any more questions? Any recommendation, Mr. Flainer?
I make a motion, we approve that out-of-country trip request for Danny High School Spain and France, June 2nd, 2026 through the 12th.
We got a motion and a second discussion. Let's vote, please, Jennifer.
I'll agree.
There you go.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all.
Please come back and tell us how the trip was.
Yes, definitely.
Follow up.
I will. Thank you all so much.
See
All right.
pictures.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next is our public comment, which there is none. If I can get approval for, or a motion for approval of meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Meeting second.
minutes. Second. Present.
Discussion. Let's vote, please, Jennifer. Thank you. Mr. Boyd, announcements.
Just, as you see, several dates, different meetings and events are listed there. The school's spring break will be the last week of March, just for your full awareness. We also have, in that spring break is Good Friday. The Friday is Good Friday, spring break, and then we have this year, the Monday after Easter is also included as a break, so they'll have a week and then.
And a break.
Yes, yes, yes. The ribbon cutting, just want to call that out, you know, it was March 22nd for the TCAT, the Boones Creek campus, TCAT Elizabethton, so, you know, they've been, you know, going full speed as far as having classes there, but finally are able to do ribbon cutting and official ribbon cutting, so yeah, hopefully everyone can attend that. It's a really good thing to have that campus in Washington County. The other, just various reports, you know, updates on enrollment. We will be, you know, we're shifting gears, getting ready for next school year. Be watching enrollment at all of our schools very closely over the next several months as we get ready for the next school year. Other financial reports, Mr. Hill has, as he always does, has put together, you know, those documents for you for public record and your full review, grants and so on. We, under other, we did add, we had a question at the last workshop about the school bus advertising. You know, what the revenue looked like. So Mr. Hill pulled together those records. So under other, you see that by year, each fiscal year, how much we have coming in as revenue for the school bus advertising. So, you know, it looks to be, in general, it's about 25,000 a year. There was a conversation at the workshop about where that money goes, and I think at one point this board indicated, you know, would go towards science, and Mr. Hill confirms that's where the money goes to, our science for materials and supplies.
Is that money being used year after year, 100%?
I think if you know, anytime you provide those funds, they're going to be spent. Yes.
So they're not just high school, they're for any, aren't they?
How's that distributed?
The entire system, all science
Okay.
classes. Half of it goes to the high school, half of it goes to the K-8 science classes. And that was in my first year here where the board voted, made a motion and voted on that. So that's where it's been ever since I've been here, since that
Well,
motion.
I'd like to keep it that way because the science materials are so expensive. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't know if it's divided that way, that's what, maybe 12,000 for high school and 12. That wouldn't go very far.
Yep, that's grown so much though. I mean, how much has that grown? And forgive me, I didn't pull that up beforehand, but how much has that grown year after year after year after year? I mean, this year we're getting more money than what we did when it was first implemented.
Projected to, can we maybe pull the document up there?
Yeah, here it is, right?
That'll actually show. The highlighted is the full years. You know, the FY '21, we had a COVID shutdown, so obviously the buses didn't run. So that year was affected. And the first year is just Skyward was implemented in January of 16, so that's only a half a year. I am told it started about a year before that, but I'm not sure if we have those records going back that far. We'd have to go to the warehouse. And then, of course, this year, it is tracking a little bit higher this year in previous years.
So it has stayed about the same then, besides the COVID.
Ms. Boyd, you know how many buses we got on our fleet with advertisement on it?
I don't know the exact number of our total, you know, fleet as far as where advertisements are on there, but most of our buses have.
Is there more room?
For more advertising?
Yes, sir.
I don't, you know, it has to be, it certainly can't be something that would cause a safety problem.
Right.
So we don't want to overload the buses.
I just didn't know if there were some buses that didn't have any or.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, like our smaller buses, they do not. You know? Okay.
But they're so much smaller than the big bus. Put that on there, that's gonna make it look like the devil putting
Yeah.
Washington County school system in this case.
What do they pay, a certain amount for how many buses they want it on? So some could have it on 10 buses, some could have their advertisement
It
on
goes down.
15 of
Seems
them.
like it was on,
You can have 1 through
how much
3.
per
in
bus,
some months.
I think.
1
It's
through
a-
3
yeah.
buses. And then
It's a company, isn't it, that's doing it?
Yeah, they handle all of
They handle it all.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah, we don't,
it's a turnkey, basically. They use our buses for advertisements that they
Send us a
sell
check.
and, for school appropriate. There's some things aren't advertised on
Yeah.
buses. Right. And shouldn't be advertised on buses, but.
And I would say most of that they purchase are consumable, aren't they?
It appears on the purchase orders, it's supplies and equipment.
Yeah.
That we use in the science classes is what it appears.
Yeah, like they were gonna dissect frogs, they were gonna put something that isn't gonna carry over.
Yeah.
One last thing I'll point out on the sheet, just for everyone's knowledge, is you see the number 141R or 4992. Above that,
That's
and
what's
then to the right, it says other local revenues and royalties. You can see that on our revenue report that we put out each month, so if you ever want to look at that, just go to the one that says revenue report analysis. And you can find that line on there, and it'll give you year-to-date and the current month.
there's one thing I'd like to know is the company that we're dealing with, has their fees went up, and we're only making X amount of dollars, like it's showing there, and they're charging the people that's advertising, are they charging more now? I mean, I don't know.
You know what we're paying for that service?
The agreement was done before I came, and it was like a one-page agreement. It was kind of vague, and it's not renewed, it's just something that's a month-to-month thing, from what I understand. All we do is get a check each month, and that is, I would have to, do some research into that to answer that question accurately.
I mean, that's
I don't know that we know.
I remember when we done it.
We've done that, I think, in 14 or 15.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I
I
came
mean,
in
they
April
come
of
and presented it to
Yeah,
us.
I remember that.
I came in April of 17, and I was told that it was maybe a year and a half before I arrived or something to that effect.
David, do you remember? I'm like Keith, I remember them presenting, but I don't.
But I don't remember their fee. I mean, I'd like to know what their fee is now, if they've changed it. I mean.
I know we personally don't pay anything.
No, I know.
We don't, we just simply receive a check.
But our pay's not went up. If their pay's went up, we should get more. That's the way I feel about it.
It should be a percentage.
I don't remember.
I've never seen it come before us agreement.
Yeah, it was before you all.
Yeah, I hadn't been on board long when that was presented to us, so.
Well, I'd like to keep it in this same fund, because
Yeah, I do too.
most of it is consumable. Like if you're gonna dissect frogs, you're not gonna keep them over for another year, things aren't what they're using, and that's it.
Sure.
Do we need to vote on it? Okay,
No, I think it's more of a,
just checking on the amount.
yeah, just following up.
There was a question about it at the workshop. Bring that out.
Okay, can I get a motion for consideration of consent agenda?
Make that motion.
Or second.
Second. Discussion? Let's vote, please, Jennifer.
I'll agree.
Okay, before we get into our discussion, I've got a request for a 5-minute break, please. like to call the meeting back to order. Next is our discussion and presentations. I'll turn it over to Mr. Boyd.
Well, we have Paul. Can you hear us, Paul? Can you hear us now, Paul? There you go. Okay. So, yeah, we'll turn it over to you just for updates on the projects.
Sure. We'll start with the MAR. The work on the MAR is being done and it should be completed by your next workshop, which is the March
19th.
or is it March 21st?
No, it's the 19th, March 19th.
March 19th. So the drawings for that will be ready by then on the MAR. That is for the elevation, the proposed elevations for the window replacements. And the GFRC?
Yeah, we're trying to adjust we're getting some feedback, on trying to figure out the sound on this end. So, say something so we see if we address the.
You can hear this better now?
Yeah, that's better, yeah. Great. Okay.
Do we need to say that again? Did you all hear that, or do we need to repeat?
We did.
Yeah, I think we heard it. It was in stereo.
Perfect. The other project that we wanted to talk about was the culinary upgrades. I was wondering if the board was gonna vote on that, on accepting the bid today.
Right.
That's our next item after you all.
Perfect.
So is there anything else we need to talk about or you know, about that? I know we did it last time and I feel like everything was sort of in order and good to go, but.
Are they planning on starting it after school lets out? If they get it?
I think it's at least, Heath, I think it's at least pretty close, you know, that they would, maybe they said something about mobilizing, you know, it was sort of toward the end of May, but I think that was what it was. It was really gonna be, you know, really close to the end of school, so, you know, if it needed to slide a few days to be after students are out, I think that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
We actually, you know.
We'll confirm that.
But we had a meeting recently and we were planning on the last 2 weeks of school. The girlie, the teacher is making plans to know that she needs to be out of the classroom at the last 2 weeks of school. So they can begin.
Okay.
Paul, do you?
We haven't formally let them know yet, since you guys were gonna vote on that today.
Right.
So nobody has been formally informed.
Right.
That the bid has been awarded.
Paul,
just let us know and we'll tell them.
Paul, do you have roughly a timeline on doing this project, start to finish?
I will, we'll immediately ask for a schedule of values and a schedule from Burwell, so we'll make a note of that. You can ask them, you know, tomorrow if this is voted. But yeah, but we'll go ahead and get them, I mean, they need to tell us, you know, what the schedule is, so we'll get that from them just as soon as, you know, they get the go-ahead, if that's how the vote turns out.
Yeah, my only thought was, you know, are we gonna go into the next school year and disrupt the class, or you know, or what was only my thinking on that?
Yeah, sure, and that's where even if, like Mr. Boyd's saying, if it's 2 or 3 weeks ahead of the end of school, if they get kind of a jump start on it, that only helps, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll get that from them.
Okay, and the next project we wanted to talk about was the Sulphur Springs bids. Before we get talking about the previous bids, we wanted to inform you that we had our pricing contractor that has been helping us give us a breakdown of the estimate budget for that. And it actually came about the same as the 2 bids that we had. And
So so I'm gonna jump in here, we're still perplexed about that. We did get some breakdown of one thing, it's sort of like we thought that it had to be, remember we talked about this last time when I was saying it, you know, it has to be the MEP and in particular the E, the electrical, and that was about 30% of the cost of, that was a pretty big number. 30% of the cost, and Ginger, you might add some detail on that as to.
so we were wondering why it was coming up so high, and after they told us that, they said out of that 30% of the total cost that was electrical, 65% was IT related. So the bulk of the price keeps coming back for the connections for the security system.
So the next question about that is, because you know, I'm sure, I know you all do this, I mean, so the school system, you know, like, you can do all the rough ends and everything as part of the project. Do we cut that out and let you all contract directly? I mean, it's still gonna cost money, but, you know, you might be able to do it, I don't wanna say for a whole lot less, but it seems like you could do it for less. I mean, you're not gonna have sub and GC markups and stuff like that, you know, and you know, maybe it's just a way to better control the cost period. But anyway, that ended up being a big number for the sort of IT and security. So that included, you know, the access controls, cameras, you know, everything.
And we know that you already work with someone that does most of your security system, if not all of it. So I don't know if they can come in and work on that instead, and all of that part. So that may be a way to look at the little ones and see if that helps.
You know, I believe we could do that. Yeah.
Okay, that's something that I think we need to explore for sure. And I think that you guys were gonna vote about, not accepting the bids on
Correct.
sulfur springs.
Correct.
And if you let us know officially, we'll let the contractors know as well. And on the other side, we also talked to that same pricing contractor, and they said that if we were to go ahead and bid the high schools, that they would be willing to bid it. They probably are looking at starting construction on those security upgrades, during the summer, like the start of June. So they would be available.
Which is great timing, because that's right. What is, remind me, your last day, I know it's late May, but what's the last day of school?
24th.
Yeah, okay, so that would be pretty close, the end of school, so I think timing wise, because we all know that's work that needs to be done, as much of it as we can get done, just kind of like what we said about the culinary arts room, is that, you know, as much of that as can be done while students and faculty aren't in session, that would be ideal. So they are interested, though, as Ginger said, in bidding it. We tried to pin them down just, you know, to get another bidder. And I think if we have some, you know, we talked about those costs last time, so with you all. So if you're comfortable with it being, you know, and we think that we at least can get the contractor on board that feels pretty comfortable with that number, then that might be our highest number, you know. You know, if we got other low bidders, I mean, we would still want, you know, multiple bidders, but you know, at least we would have one that we feel pretty good about, you know, being where it, at least pretty close where it needs to be. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also on our agenda tonight to vote on, so I'm sure Mr. Boyd can, you know, let you all know how that turns out also,
Yeah, please do. The other thing, so to add a little bit more, so we had a little more conversation with them, you know, just about, you know, we've all talked about how to slice these up, right? And you know, there's a lot of guesswork that's going into that, but, you know, they said that, yes, it would be worth our while. Like, they feel like maybe in terms of manpower, they wouldn't want to go back and do all 11 like we have all, you know, had bid originally. But maybe if it were, you know, the high schools plus maybe a couple more that were geographically close, you know, I mean, they're looking to strategize in a way that, you know, economies of scale, like we always talk about, but to sort of maximize, say, a superintendent and maybe an assistant super, you know, that they could kind of spread those out. They're not gonna spread them out across 11 jobs, but they might have a smaller team that gets spread across 4 jobs, and it might be worthwhile. So what I said to them, and, you know, I think this is the part that you all would be interested in, is I said, well, what if we, with you guys, with the board and the school system, what if we just decided on what those 4 that had, you know, some similarities, geographic location similarities, and we took 4 of them, and then we could do a base bid that was the high schools only, and then a second bid that was all 4 of them together. Now, I hope that doesn't sound like I'm trying to overcomplicate things, but if those 4 together came in more than we were anticipating or more than we wanted to pay, then we could always drop back and you know, we'd have a safety valve that we could just accept the high schools. And they said they thought that was a very reasonable way to do it.
I think it'll give us more wiggle room for sure into having more options of what can be afforded and what can be done.
And not so many options that it gets really confusing, right? Right.
To me, you're just opening up the door and you're letting them know what the bid is for the other ones. Am I looking at it wrong, Whitney? I mean, that's what we're having a problem with Sulphur Springs. I feel like that, how come it's come in so high?
Well, it's all
well
publicized.
Keith, how do you mean let them know what the bid?
You're going to go out here and bid it, and there's somebody's going to put a bid in at the same price or a price on the other 2. Well, then it ain't gonna come in no cheaper because they're gonna, if we turn it down, somebody else is gonna come in here and bid it just as high as it was. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, what he's saying is that if we have the 2 separate bids or the alternates, you can maybe reject the 4, having 4 schools built, and you can choose to have the 2.
Well, I think Keith's concern is if you reject the 2, then that's out there.
Yeah.
Or people.
I don't, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we have to bid them, and I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if there's a
understand.
way
We have to
around
bid
it.
them, but
You know, I hear you. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but,
Well, Paul, if we go that route on the 2 high schools, if we approve that tonight on the 2 high schools on our agenda, would you want us to go ahead and try to include 2 other schools that's close tonight to approve, so you can put it out as the 4, like you're asking?
you know, that would be fine with us. I mean, certainly that's your call. I mean, obviously it's your call. I mean, we would be happy to do it that way, I guess is what I'm saying. And then we at least got some feedback from this contractor that they thought that was a reasonable way to do it, you know, and understanding that they might not get all 4 if the numbers didn't work out. But again, just thinking that we would have a safety valve and some assurance that we would at least be able to do the high schools.
Yeah.
So as a board, when that agenda item comes up, please keep that in mind as we go ahead, Mr. Whitney.
So are they asking for us to do the high school bids separately and as an alternate, each high school with 2 additional schools or 4 additional schools?
No, with two additional with you.
2 with each high school, okay.
Yeah.
1 with each. So 1 with each high school or 2 with each high school for a total of 6 schools?
No, the bid form would look, the bid form would look like this. You would have a base bid that was David Crockett and Daniel Boone only.
Right.
And then, it's really, I mean, we could call it an alternate. It's almost like you'd have a base bid 1 and a base bid 2. And it's kind of the way we did, honestly, it's kind of the way we did the athletics upgrades, right? If you all remember those bid forms. So it's like that would be base bid 1. And our base bid 2 would be Daniel Boone High School, David Crockett High School, and then two more of the schools, whatever we all decide, you know, that those should be.
Our initial bid on security was the 11 schools, but we had Asbury School, and I think it was Sulphur Springs. We had 2 that were alternates, that if we found somebody else, like a small contractor to do them, that's how we had it initially, the first time we had it bid.
Right.
So if we do.
But the only difference with here though is we're doing, base bid 1 is 2 schools, base bid 2 would be 4 schools, you know, so, and it's 2 of the same schools along with 2 additional ones. Whitney, I can understand how that sounds confusing as I say it, but you know, the whole idea is what we're trying to do is get the economies of scale. So they have their general conditions, you know, which is a lot of their overhead, you know, their superintendent, their project manager, stuff like that. You know, the whole idea is if you get the right balance of those, they spread some of that number across 4 schools rather than putting them all on 2 schools. That's where we talk about economies of scale. That's a big place that, you know, and possibly in sort of ordering and buying power too, that, you know, you get some economies of scale with similar things. So that's, you know, whether it really works out that way, that's sort of the logic, you know, is that, you know, we add something that provides more economies of scale. Now, again, the feedback we got from the contractor was not all 11, that's just kind of like too much to really get, you know, the added benefit, you know, to spread across projects because, you know, as you all know, there's quite a bit of distance between a lot of your schools, right? And, you know, it couldn't be manned by the same team. So I think what they're trying to do is logically think about how they could kind of box that in and get 4 schools that are in pretty close proximity. I mean, we know the high schools are, 25 minutes apart, but maybe get sort of in between. I mean, I think we've all decided, and rightfully so, that the 2 high schools are a priority.
Yeah.
You know, and then getting, you know, a couple that are in close proximity to both where they could have, you know, a main team sort of man all of that, you know, at one time. So that's the logic.
And that in turn is gonna save us money, hopefully.
You know, hopefully.
I think that's the thought. Hopefully.
And Mike, again, you know, just however, however you all think you want to do that. I mean, you know, if you want to just do the high schools and if that seems overly complicated, we can certainly just, you know, prepare those packages. I mean, it's really just pulling them out of what we already have and just, you know, changing the bid form. There's not a ton of work to do it either way.
Okay.
Because we've already done the work. So.
Well, as we come to that item, just keep that in mind, you know, how the board wants to allow host group to move forward on that item.
Okay, that's all we have so far.
The athletic upgrade still on, hopefully on time frame.
Still turning. So so far, everything's still on track.
Good.
You haven't got a price on how much extra it's gonna be at Crockett yet?
You know, we got, you know, there was some preliminary discussion, but we have not got an official ECO on that on unsuitable soils. So as soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.
Okay. We'll appreciate y'all zooming in with us tonight.
Thank you, Ginger Paul.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm sure Mr. Boyd will be in touch with y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, please just let us know and we'll move forward accordingly.
Yes, thanks.
Thanks, Paul, Ginger.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Yes, bye.
Okay. After their presentation, that's next on the agenda is approved to award the bid for culinary department project at David Crockett High School. Mr. Fleener?
Make a motion, we approve Burwell at $443,000 not to exceed. I think that was their base bid plus the alternate one that we were going with.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion.
I don't know if it needs to say funded by the ISM grant and part of that motion as well.
That's what I was gonna ask, this is grant money.
Yeah, I think it needs to be in the motion.
Please.
Any more discussion? Let's vote, please, Jennifer. Ms. Dillon.
They really didn't say how long, but they're hoping it'll be completed by the time school starts.
And I think they have a plan in place if it is not.
Right.
One other expense to consider is the Lewis Group's fee as part of this, I'm assuming will get billed for their fee, so when you say 440 for the project, might need to include some Lewis Group fees, I don't know what those will be though.
You're just approving the bid.
That's right, well, okay.
Yeah, that would be separate, but I just mean there would be.
Right, okay.
All agreed.
Thank you. Next is approval to reject or select bids for Silver Springs Elementary security upgrades.
Make a motion, we reject the bids.
We have a second?
How much did they come in as? It never has varied then, has it?
No, what was it, 2 something, wasn't it? It come in.
Yeah, both bids were real close to each other. Mid-200s.
Any more discussion on the rejection of the bid? Let's vote, please, Jennifer.
All agreed.
Thank you. Next is the approval to release bids for the security upgrades at Daniel Boone and David Crockett. And if the board wants to add the extra 2.
What, 2?
That'd be, whatever the board decides.
I'm in favor, just let's do Crockett and Boone, let's get that going.
Throw it out there.
I make a motion, we just do Crockett and Boone.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Discussion.
I wouldn't care to add 2 more things to it, but the bad thing is I don't know that we were all in agreement with all the changes. That's the reason we picked Sulphur Springs, just a small one that had very little changes. All the other ones, if we pick up 2 that are added, there were a lot of things, I think the wants and everything kind of grew the projects. I don't know that we liked exactly where all the projects were growing to, is the reason I don't want to add 2 on there.
But if he was suggesting close by, it would probably be Ridgeview.
Well, we don't, what I'm saying is I don't even know that we know exactly what we want them to be.
Right.
Well, and if you add 2 more to 2 large jobs, which the high schools are gonna be larger jobs, you may end up slowing down your larger jobs by adding 2 more, so.
I think just with the high schools, that's one of them.
Mr. Earl, do you have a?
I mean, my thought is it doesn't hurt to throw it on there as an alternate. You're gonna get the high schools anyway, you can select them, but if you put an alternate, there's a chance we'll get better pricing on them. But if not, we don't have to accept it, we can take the original bid on both high schools.
What projects though that we agreed with that, you know, there were some of them that just grew more than what we'd originally planned.
Well, but you remember Lewis Group come back with some changes.
Were Ridgeview and Grandview about the same amount? I mean, would they not be?
He was growing up outside. You know, they were building a whole new exterior.
So that being the case, maybe we need to have a workshop or just a meeting specifically to review all the other plans with the Lewis Group and look at each school and go over them and make changes or not, to accept or change or whatever, and then rebid them. So.
Yeah, we didn't really approve or disapprove, but I don't think we all were.
And you're speaking of just the KS?
Just, everything outside the high schools, yes.
So what says that we can't go ahead and put the 2 high schools out there? And then that'll give us time while that's already going ahead and get started. Maybe we could put 4 close elementary type schools in the next bid and do what they're suggesting next time with 4 kind of close schools.
Maybe as soon as they complete that or get to the point, they can move their.
But maybe they can go ahead and get the high schools completed this time, and that'll give us time to do some more design and change.
That was my thought, we need to move
Yeah.
And if we can reduce our amounts on those high schools, they were the large ticket items. So definitely we want to move forward on those.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we need to review the elementary schools
Yeah.
again, because there were changes, you know, I know there were some changes that I'd like to see to make it a little simpler and hopefully a little more cost effective for us to help us, you know, afford to do them all.
Yeah.
So, I think, like, again, maybe just a little, meeting specifically for that purpose, and we sit down and review them school by school, and we all have input and the changes and try to make sure they're exactly what we want, and then bid those elementary
So
schools.
maybe we get Mr. Boyd, check with the Lewis Group schedule, see when we can schedule that.
So I'm just saying, you know, we may not be able to lump 4 of them together right now and save money, but we could maybe lump 4 of them later and save money. So we'd still get the same result, but it gives us time to go back to the drawing board for the other ones we're not sure on.
Sure. Okay. Any more discussion?
So this is just for the two
This
high
is the motion for the 2 high schools to release bids. Okay, Jennifer, let's vote, please.
Second. All agree.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Boyd, the solar eclipse date.
We gotta approve that?
It sounds dark.
And, you know, I don't really expect any action, it was just more for awareness. You know, there is, as most people are aware, there's another solar eclipse. The last one was 2017. And, you know, communities across Tennessee kind of went a little bit, they got a little excited and thought that, you know, we were gonna have people go blind and so on and so forth. But in this particular case, we might see, I think we're at about 80% where we would see the solar eclipse. And it would be in the afternoon. So, you know, what some districts are doing already, there's some in our some of our neighbors are closing. Some are letting out early. And then our sister district, Johnson City, Dr. Barnett said, we're in school.
Well, that's what we should do.
Well, I mean, my preference is yes, but my only concern, and you know, I certainly want a little more research, but you know, it would be happening, or there would be, the eclipse would be happening when many of our schools are getting out. So I don't know, you know, what we can expect and have any concerns about our bus drivers, you know, but as we learned the last time, I do think we go ahead and make a learning experience out of it. We get the glasses, you know, and it's an opportunity. I mean, it's another learning opportunity. We'll have to manage some of the concerns that people had in 2017, that they will have this time around as well.
What time of day did you say it?
When is it? It's a Monday.
It's a Monday, the 8th of April. And the path that's gonna go over and come across Mexico, it's gonna go over Texas, Arkansas. That'll be the direct line and end up, you know, as far as North America, it'll end up around Nova Scotia. It's around 3:45, I think is what was said, but.
My wife and I are going up to my sister's house in Cleveland to see it. We're supposed to be at like 99%. The problem is it's Cleveland. And chances of getting a clear sky. So they've actually got a number of Clevelanders who are forming a caravan and driving to Texas to try to see it, because they figure it's a better chance to be able to see it there than in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go up there.
I remember it in 17, but I didn't realize.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I haven't heard this one
No, I haven't either.
coming. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's, you know, again, I think it's certainly a great learning experience for our students, for us. So.
You know, I remember that now because it's freaked my cows out.
Sure.
My cows went nuts.
Did you get them red glasses?
No, they run to the barn and they was, I mean.
Well,
they
you know,
freaked
it
them
is, it's a little, I mean, it was a little odd when it went dark, you know, for the few seconds it did. That was, it was in my previous district, yes, we were in one of the areas that was in direct line, so we closed because there was 100,000+ people coming to Tennessee Tech to watch this thing. So we just said, we're not gonna deal with all the traffic.
So if it's supposed to happen at 3:45 here?
I
then?
think it'll end, so it'll start actually somewhere around noon.
Okay.
You know, we'll start seeing the signs of it around noon, maybe a little later, and then I think it'll basically run its course about 3:30, 3:45 our time.
When our buses is going home.
Yeah, that would be the only, you know, so, you know, one possible consideration if we just dismiss early to get our buses, if that's a true concern, you know, and it probably could be, it could be. I would just wanna know exactly, you know, if there is any safety concerns there. But we'll decide and we'll announce it and, you know, share with the families, the community, one way or another, that, you know, number one, we're gonna issue glasses for everyone and they can enjoy the experience. But
I think let's make it a learning experience, but keep them in school.
Yeah, I don't.
So many families, you know, to have an early dismissal or whatever, it puts a strain on them. I just soon.
It does,
you know,
it is disruption.
Keep it as normal as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, as we all know, our teachers will make the best of it with their students. I really take advantage of the experience.
Absolutely. I remember going out with the whole school at Woodland sitting out there, and the one that passed through in 17, we didn't get totally dark here at all. I didn't think it was that.
No, it was, there was a lot of hype, I guess,
right. It was,
around it.
So if this is only gonna be 80%,
I think that's in our area, I think that's what
time.
we can expect, is not a full, we may not be able to see the full total, but anyway.
It's cutting right through southern rain.
And it could be cloudy, you know. So.
Yeah, I'll be in the Bahamas, so hopefully, hopefully it doesn't take the sun away.
Use some sun.
Yeah.
But I just put it on there just for awareness, you know. And,
okay.
Look forward to it.
All right, overnight trip request, Mr. Boyd.
Yeah, these are, you know, and of course the board approves any overnight out-of-state trips, and these are the trips that have been submitted. As you see, our boys basketball team at David Crockett is going to Murfreesboro, so they definitely will be down there. They've worked hard and earned a spot in the state tournament, so they'll be going overnight.
So we're gonna send them down there in school buses, I guess, is that what normally goes on?
I mean, sometimes boosters, they charter buses, but I mean, we provide the transportation.
Okay.
And they're also, I think they're trying to raise money. I think we need to look at a system, if it's the will of the board, that we support teams or groups when they get to that level. But we have to keep in mind that we have a lot of teams and groups that get to that level, and we haven't consistently, I mean, we haven't provided funds to some of those groups. We can.
Well, do we need to make a motion where or has that already been approved?
It's, you know, you'll approve the overnight trip. I mean, I think between myself and Mr. Hale, we can find a way to support the team. And there needs to be some shared responsibility as far as the cost.
I know in the past that my memory can serve me, when we do have teams going to the state or to something of that nature, we've always tried to help some. I don't think we've ever paid the full amount, but we've always done a, you know, some part of that cost. So I don't think we've really had set up, you know, precedents on what exactly we do, but.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is what exactly
it's just
we're paying for.
Hotel meals.
Costs, their you know, their daily per diem costs.
Well, that's great.
I mean, so that's where their biggest expense would be. I mean, you know, a hotel in Murfreesboro, it's like here, it's gonna be $100, $200 a night, probably.
I did speak with Josh Kite a couple days ago, and I will share with the board is what he told me. He said if it's just one night, I guess if it's, they play, get beat, they come home, I guess. But he said if it's just that, his estimate was around 15,000. He said if they continue to win, he felt like it would be an upwards of low 20s of the cost. And that did include a chartered bus that he was getting.
If they win, they play the next night?
Yeah, they keep playing.
As long as you win, you keep playing.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if it would be the next night for sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, you keep rolling into the finals, I believe would be on a Saturday.
Is there 16 teams going?
There's 8 in that division.
Yeah.
8 teams.
And, you know, there's all the different levels, 1A, 2A, 3A,
Right.
4A.
And
And
they're
that's
3A.
on the agenda. It's where you see up to 5 days, and that does include the cheerleaders. Go at that price, as far as I understood.
Yeah. It's a, you know, it's a great experience for the students. Had the privilege of being there many times with teams in the past.
Well, I know they appreciate it then.
But we'll work with Mr. Kite
Sounds good.
and, you know, in the team, see what we can help with that last dollar support.
Are you there as a player?
No, sir.
Mr. Flainer?
Make a motion, we approve the trip, the overnight request for David Crockett boys basketball team to go to the state tournament.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I second.
Discussion. Let's vote, please, Jennifer.
I'll agree.
Thank you.
Demolition of the house.
I didn't realize we'd set it up for bid.
We did, we approved it last time for him to open it up for bids, just so we could see what it cost, best of my memory. I did speak with this gentleman, it's Kurt Sales, for the one of you knows in the area. He said that did include everything except compacting the ground.
So they're not gonna fill?
They'll fill, but they won't compact, because he said if he compacts it, he will compact it, but it will be additional cost, because he'd have to
What
get
kind
the
of
equipment.
material is it gonna fill with?
He didn't say, he just said, the way I understood, he'd demo the house in the basement, then haul dirt back in, and then put it back on grade.
Has
But-
anybody had any discussion with the neighbor or not?
No, I have not.
This would be separate, wouldn't it?
I think they're gonna use that driveway because the other driveway's got limbs hanging down, so you're gonna go in one, come out the other.
But we did, best of my memory, we did ask Mr. Boyd and Jared to get us a price on what it cost to demo and let us at least know what we're looking at.
Well, does this sound like a reasonable price?
So 12.5 for all but compact.
All but compact.
I do think we need to get it compacted, get it ready, so if there's, it couldn't be that much more.
And like I said, we can get Jared to call him back and say what additional would it be to compact, because I don't think we're in no hurry by no means.
Let's push this back a month.
Yeah, we need to find out how much it is to compact it. It'd be cheaper to do it while you're doing it.
Right.
Have the equipment there, and they just rent a compactor if they have one, hopefully. It shouldn't be that much more expensive.
But he did call me and said that quote does not include compacting. It does include fill, but not compact.
Yeah, we want compacted fill in there,
Mhm.
and we wanna know what material
That he's
they're
filling with.
using for fill.
Can we, let's postpone this a month, and I'm just throwing this out here, but do we want to let the county fire departments burn it down?
Well, they had to remove the brick, didn't they?
Well, they still do, but I mean, I'm just saying, do we think it'd be a good training house and let them go ahead with that?
It's awful close to that other house.
Yeah, let's go.
In the school, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well, that's their job, keep it from the school, away from the school.
So we're just gonna move it back a month, get a
We'll
couple
put that,
questions up.
Jennifer, we'll put that back on the workshop, please. And
They may not want it.
So we want to know the material.
material
what
and
compacted,
cost
we
of the
want
compaction.
compaction to make sure, then you're build ready, then it shouldn't be much more.
No, and, hopefully we'll have that on our 19th.
Yeah,
Workshop.
we'll work to try to have that by the workshop.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, 2 purchase orders.
Yeah, item, benchmark education, that's our reading series. That's just buying some consumables. And we're using the literacy grant that we have from the state, the amount of $39,981.
I'll make a motion, we approve this purchase order 35454.
Second.
With discussion? Let's vote, please, Jennifer. You want to put these 2 together?
Well, yeah, we funded 2 ways, I don't know, can you?
Well, if he'll withdraw his motion,
I'll withdraw it.
is it okay? Okay, okay. Now Jennifer says it's no big deal, so we can separate them.
I'll go forward with my motion.
I'll agree.
Thank you.
Next item is a purchase, as you see, Boones Creek Elementary, funds that were allocated to them, the ESSER $3, which does sunset at the end of this year. So all expenditures, must be completed with those funds by the end of this current fiscal year. But that's curriculum, as you see.
I did have a teacher reach out to me and ask, and I assume that's what this is, that they were asked by the principal and the staff their input, and they were turned down, and this is what they chose.
Okay.
They they went through to ask everybody their input, so it was just, okay, I'm fine with it, but that's.
Ms. Waters?
I make a motion that we approve purchase order 35439.
Second.
We have a motion, second discussion. Let's vote, please, Jennifer.
I'll agree.
All right, thank you.
Did we?
What's that?
Did I agree?
You must have, she said it was on.
It quit Lincoln. Sorry, did you not?
Never mind.
I go back. Oh, no, Miss Dillinger voted no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
She said no.
Okay, the only other thing I have is some dates, we just to remind you of, March 19th at 5 is our workshop. The 20th is our budget workshop at 5. The 22nd is the ribbon cutting at TCAT at 1. And then our regular monthly board meeting, April 4th. So, other than that, meeting adjourned.